Hello from Australia. My name is Olga and I'm completely blind. And today I'm going to demonstrate one of my kitchen appliances that helps me to bake, work with hot liquids, lose weight, and much more. So have a look. These are kitchen scales, cooking kitchen scales for the blind. They can measure in ounce, gram. So I can measure both liquids and solids, and the brand is thoughtfully designed. By no means it's not an advertisement. I just love my scales, use them a lot, and would like to share the information because I think it may be helpful to other blind people or interesting for sighted people to see how we people without eyesight deal with things. Let's start with something different. I'm going to show you how I make jelly. So obviously we need packet jellies. These ones are light because I'm trying to lose some weight. I'll let you know how it goes. And hot water. So why would I use scales instead of cups? Because if you can't see, you don't really want to be sticking your fingers into the hot water when you measure it by cups. Whereas if you're using scales, you're pretty much all right. So first of all, I need to set the scales to milliliters, and now I need to measure 1000 milliliters. So I'm holding one hand on the edge of the cup of the scales and pouring the hot boiling water into it.
It is 1010 milliliters.
Okay, 1010 milliliters is close enough. So I can get the jug of the scales so we don't listen constantly to the blah blah blabbing. And I'm going to add the jelly powder, and then easily, once I dissolve it, pour it into containers. This jug is designed to pour liquids easily out, so it will be no drama. Now I'm going to pour the jelly into the containers. It's a little bit tricky because the water is still hot, and it's my finger that I have to use to tell where the level of the jelly is, but I'm managing it all right. Sometimes it ends up everywhere, but I'm doing all right so far. That's it. Now let's see how these scales work with solids and how accurate they are. So I've got a block of dark chocolate, and it's 100 grams plus packaging. So let's select grams and let's set the scales to 0. Alright, now I'm going to put the block of chocolate on top.
It is 112 grams.
Well, let's say it's very accurate because 100 grams for the chocolate and 1200 grams for cardboard box is fair enough. Now I've got a protein bar that the manufacturer declares to be 30 grams plus packaging, but I don't want just to add it on top. I'm going to set the scales to 0.
Power on.
Oops.
Power on. 0.
Okay, and I'm going to put the protein bar right on top of my chocolate bar. So it could be very handy if you're mixing cake mix and you've got flour that you add into the bowl, and then you set your scales to 0, and into the same bowl you can add your sugar and then set the scales to 0 again, and you add your cocoa powder, for example, and so on. So it makes the process quite easy and quick. So let's see what the scales say when I add the protein bar.
It is 34 grams.
Well, fair enough, because 30 grams is the protein bar and 4 grams would be for the packaging. I use these scales when we talk about solids, for instance, to measure my meat when I make a roast. So I would determine how long I'm supposed to roast that meat. It's very handy. Well, unexpected way of using the scales, which happen to be really handy for me because I've been trying to lose weight and because I don't have that much to lose. It's actually a big challenge for me. So I'm holding a packet of frozen pre-made food which contains 100 grams of roasted chicken breast, 120 grams of broccoli, and half a cup of rice, and that adds up to 300 calories, and it would be one meal for me. So without the scales I wouldn't be able to put together this meal. I use these scales also for gardening. I measure my pesticides with it. Of course, I would use a different jug, not the provided jug. That one I keep just for kitchen stuff. I also measure my fertilizers, liquid fertilizers. So let's say I need to mix 1 liter of water and 60 milliliters of liquid fertilizer. So I use my scales for that. I use these scales to play with my child, a 3-year-old boy. We would weigh different things and determine which object is the heaviest. And these are just some ideas. I'm sure you can find even more ways to use these scales. Alright, that's it for now. Please let me know if there are other things you would like me to talk about, to demonstrate. I'll be happy to hear from you. Have a nice day. Bye.